everyone. We might make a start. Ms. Nadia Yasmin is not presenting. She's not feeling well. So we are going to move forward to the second session, which was supposed to start with Dr. Cynthia Sari from USM Indonesia.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished chairperson, and all fellow participants. It is an honor for me to be here to present our research with the title Evaluation of Built-up Land Incompatibility with Land Capability and its Implication for Critical Land in the Serang Watershed. Serang Watershed is one of the prioritized watershed management between the environmental Minister of Environmental and Forestry Indonesia, about one of the 180 critical priority watershed that are included in the critical watershed, one of them. Massive population growth and development in the urban area Yogyakarta lead the tourism development are suppressing land cover changes. So this conversion often do not take into account the ability of the land that triggers degradation and increase potential of the critical land. National critical land data was released by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry in 2022, and the data became the basis for handling the critical land, but the case of the Serang watershed has experienced strong anthropogenic development and pressure. The availability of a multi-temporal and high-resolution satellite imagery is used to monitoring the land use changes more accurately and frequently. Develop of a special base model that can be replicated in other priority watersheds in Indonesia, and the strengthening collaboration between the academia, local government, and environmental agency in watershed management is a vital component to be done. Serang watershed in just 2 years experienced significant acceleration in the addition of developed land. Evaluate the 2022 critical land data against the existing condition of 2024 based on the suitability of built land to hand capability. Land data built up from a Sentinel to a extraction between the 2022 and 2024. Creation of land capability by combining thematic data, digital evaluation model, and analytical hierarchy process method. The ideal limit of developed land is only 29% of the watershed area based on land capability, but initially it has reached 38.37%. There are more than 2 hectares that have exceeded the land capacity but are not included as critical according for 2022 data. Field condition change faster than the government data update cycle, so slow updating of critical land data could potentially cause policy delay and inaccuracy in watershed management. Understanding the impact of a delay in updating data, development of adaptive policy strategy is needed. Academic contribution providing a more dynamic GIS-based approach to critical line evaluation can serve as methodological model for other watershed study, and a policy contribution forming the basis for spatial planning policy renewal in providing a reference for routine evaluation and national critical line data, and sustainability contribution, assisting local government in data-driven sustainable development planning, targeted watershed rehabilitation for ecosystem sustainability. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can we have Mr. Hamim Hadibatia from UMS Surakarta, Indonesia?
Everybody, good afternoon. My name is Hamim, and in this occasion, I will present on behalf of my friend regarding our research entitled Urban World Gradient Analysis of Land Surface Temperature and Land Cover in Surakarta City and its surrounding areas. We know that Surakarta is the most polluted cities in Central Java Province, and it leads to land conversion from non-built-up areas to built-up areas. The land conversion itself leads to the increase of urban heat island, in which the urban areas exhibit the higher temperature in comparison to the other suburban and rural areas. And we need a planning regarding the UHI mitigation. So it is very crucial to have a plan for accommodating the mitigation of urban heat island or UHI. And then we can utilize Landsat 8 imagery to extract land cover and land surface temperature, as well as we can observe how the gradient of land surface temperature and land cover from the most urbanized areas to the suburban areas and to the greenest rural areas. It is very crucial since urban island can have detrimental effect on the environment and the public health and human being. As we know that if we experience high temperature, we will turn on the air conditioner higher. The use of air conditioner will increase the use of energy. The use of energy itself of the air conditioner will lead to the increase of anthropogenic heat wave, and it will increase the climate change and the thermal comfort become decreasing. So we need climate sensitive spatial planning to address this issue. And then we can observe the gradient with the temperature. We use the Landsat data to extract land cover and land surface temperature, and then we create 1 kilometer ring buffer from the urban core until 20 kilometer from the urban core. So we will have 20 zone of ring buffer. And then we can observe the gradient from the inner circle to the outer circle. This is the result. Basically, the highest temperature of land cover is built up area with the roof made of clay. And then the lowest temperature is water body, and then followed by woody vegetation. And then we can observe the urban world gradient from here. In my left-hand side, in the right-hand side, we can observe basically in the zone 1, the inner city, the proportion of built-up areas are the highest, and it has consequences to the increase of the temperature. And then we know that it is gradually decreasing. However, in the zone of 15, we can observe a sudden increase in temperature and proportion of built-up area. That is the core of Central Business District of Sukoharjo Regency, in which the satellite city of Surakarta. Okay. And then this study can have a contribution in addressing the planner regarding how we should develop climate-sensitive spatial planning, and then the study can also be transferred to the other cities to make city more sustainable and accommodating the urban heat island mitigation itself. Thank you very much.
have Mr. Rico Vahyudi from the Research Center for Climate Change, University of Indonesia.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rico Wahyudi. I'm from the Research Center for Climate Change, University of Indonesia. So, first of all, I would like to thank for this opportunity for sharing our research about the expanding Indonesia's forestry carbon project to the international voluntary carbon markets, paving the way through the mutual recognition agreement. This actually is the policy research for improving the carbon pricing governance in Indonesia, but particularly in forestry sector, but I think it's also relevant with the agriculture sectors. So I would like to start from the background that previous government, prior 2024, had restricted the carbon credit from the Indonesia to sell to the international market, particularly voluntary carbon markets. But now, after 2024, the new government has opened the opportunity to collaborate with the international standard and facilitate the selling carbon credit from the Indonesia to the international voluntary carbon market, including the credit certified under the Indonesian National Registry System. But the problem right now, how far the recognition of the international market or international buyer to the credit certified under the Indonesian National Registry System. So that's why the mutual recognition agreement can be the entry point to improve the Indonesia standard and also to monitor effectively for the credit certified under the international standard, such as FERA, Gold Standard, ARTRIS, FLAD-FIFO, and so on. So in this research, we do the investigation, the role of the MRA in bridging the different standard between the international standard and national registry system, and how we can propose the comprehensive MRA framework and policy recommendation for effective and smooth implementation to improve our standard and also to enable the government to collect the revenue from the credit sale in the voluntary carbon market. So we did the mixed method, literature review and stakeholder perspective. So we did the several stakeholder consultation, first with the policymaker from the Ministry of Environment and also the technical ministries related to the NDC sectors in Indonesia. And the second, we also conducted consultation with the 15 forest carbon companies from the private sector and with the transition team of the new president of Indonesia, Prabowo Subianto. And based on our analysis, we found that if we want to success doing the MRA process, so we need to create the enabling condition. This is very important. So the first, we still don't have the clear framework for the MRA process, particularly what the impact that we want and the main objective and also the final process. So just only the recognition of the standard and methodology or until registry connectivity. So that's very important. And we need also to improve our standard and methodology if we want to do the mutual recognition. For the rest, maybe we can do the single recognition. And we also propose the MRA with the international standard with the several components. The first thing that is very important, how to balance the public and private interest. The public interest related to how to fulfill the NDC target and how to collect revenue optimally. And private interest is very important related to the access to the market and getting the premium price. And also doing the dual validation if the carbon project want to be certified under the international standard. So we also propose the 3 scenario for the MRA process. The first short-term scenario. So it means we still don't improve our standard and methodology, so we can do the single recognition with the international standard. And medium term, maybe we can improve our standard and methodology and doing the mutual recognition with the international standard without the registry connectivity. And the last one, the long-term scenario, we can do the mutual recognition with the registry connectivity to improve the government in monitoring the credit in the voluntary carbon markets. So I hope this research will support the government of Indonesia in developing comprehensive framework for the mutual recognition agreement, and also to support the government to collect revenue optimally. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have Dr. Zainul Zainuddin from RMIT University next.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I would like to start with acknowledgement of country. We gather here today on the unceded sovereign lands of the First Nation people. We acknowledge the Woiwurrung and Wurrung people, speaking people of the Eastern Kulin Nation, and First Nation sovereign governance was never ceded. So today I'd like to talk about regenerative farming in regional Victoria, and I'm looking at these practices through the actor network theory as a framework for climate resilience. Why it matters? Agriculture is both a contributor to greenhouse gas emission and one of the most important sites for carbon sequestration and ecosystem repair. Regenerative farming offers a system-based alternative. It's about restoring soil health, biodiversity, and water cycles while maintaining livelihood. Okay, you can get that. Method, what I did. So what I did was I explored this, my research question through digital ethnography, semi-structured interviews with 10 regenerative farmers and participant observation across regional Victoria. So I traced the relationships between farmers, technologies, soil markets, and policy actors, mapping how these elements interacted and influenced each other. And 3 key findings. Soil is all about the soil. For farmers, microbes, compost systems, weather events co-produce soil fertility and resilience. Here, soil itself acts as an agent that shapes routines and responsibilities. Second, digital mediators, online platforms and podcasts have become vital spaces of knowledge exchange. They connect geographical dispersed farmers, enabling experimentations and collective learning beyond traditional institutions. Third, policy and market actors. Certification system, grants, and market incentives play a powerful role in shaping what counts as regenerative. So this research reframes climate actions and adaptation through an actor network lens. First, it reminds us that effective climate change is not about telling better stories, but it's about recognizing the interdependencies that sustain action between people, tools, and ecologies. Secondly, communication strategies should make this relationship visible, whether that's the dialogue between soil health data and farmer institution, or between local practice and global policy. So, and actor network theories help us see resilience as relational. It's built from ongoing collaborations rather than isolated interventions. Understanding these networks allows policymakers, researchers, and communities to design more inclusive, adaptive, and regenerative frameworks for the future. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I will present my paper about the application of pulsed electric field for assisting drying of butterfly pea flowers. As we know, in Indonesia, the consumption of edible flower is increasing, but almost for edible flower preservation use a drying method. So we will try to make some method to reduce the energy, and of course, the reduction of carbon footprint also. Okay, why we use the pulse electric field? Because pulse electric field is one of the non-thermal technology. So it will reduce the energy consumption and also thermal energy also. And pulse electric field will help make the extraction of bioactive compound from edible flower is increased. And also pulse electric field also have some mechanism that will change the structure of edible flower, so it will make short of drying time also. For this objective, I think for pulse electric field is high potential application for edible flower because have some bioactive compound that has advantage for our health, and also will increase the commercial value because we can reduce the cost production. So the edible flower will make commercial value is increased. And also this technology, I said before, one of the non-thermal technology, so it will support the SDGs also. For this research, I think it's very simple because we only compare the drying conventional method with this pre-treatment. For research, I think, like I said before, we just use VF for pre-treatment for edible flower. For the result, we can see that for drying rate, we can see the control still high drying rate. It's mean for control still need a long time for make flower dry, but for pre-treatment sample, we can make drying rate reduce, then control. And also for bioactive compound like total phenolic, total anthocyanin, and another, we can see that for pre-treatment control has higher than control, and also for antioxidant activity also. It's mean VF can more efficient or effective to extract the bioactive compound from edible flower. For this different with another research, we can see that the PF can improving the extraction and also can make the drying process more efficient. Okay, thank you. Thank you, terima kasih, sawadikap, Sukriya.
Next, we have Dr. Arif Nuyawan from USU, Indonesia.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Arif Nuryawan and team from Universitas Sumatera Utara and James Cook University are presenting our progress research about biopellet made of oil palm frond and branches wood of mangrove. What is the problem? Indonesia commit to reduce fossil-based energy by expansion the new and renewable energy. And Indonesia has target 23% comes from biomass, and it's come from oil palm biomass. Indonesia has the largest oil palm plantation in the world, and therefore the residue of this plantation are used and daily recycled. For instance, for oil palm frond can be utilized as the raw material for making pellet as the solid bioenergy. However, morphologically, the oil palm frond is less denser and lower calorific value. Therefore, in this case, we mix the oil palm frond with the mangrove, just the branches. So the density will increase and the calorific value fulfill the standard. So we use pellet machine. In this case, we use pellet machine for making the pellet and characterize the morphology using SEM or scanning electron microscopy. And the result, as proving the SEM image, that we can differentiate before and after mixed with the branches wood of mangrove. And what will it contribute? Morphologically, the resulted pellet was denser and more uniform and having high calorific value. This effort supports climate action by reducing emission and transitioning from fossil fuel to renewable energy from biomass. Thank you very much.
And last but not least, we have Ms. Nitin Sawa from End Food Waste CRC.
Thanks, Bhavna. Good afternoon, everyone. Have you heard about life cycle assessment? Who have heard about life cycle assessment? Yes, thank you. Only two. I'm sorry, I'm using some technical words, but I'm sorry I have to use those. Okay, let me share my research on, let me share how I use a life cycle assessment in assessing the supply chain opportunities to reduce food waste in Australia. So, LCA is widely used to evaluate potential environmental impacts of food waste reduction strategies, namely food waste prevention, redistribution, reuse for animals, and valorization. Several LCA methodological frameworks exist in the literature. However, these frameworks do not support food supply chain stakeholders, namely business people, researchers, and policymakers in developing and selecting sustainable food waste reduction strategies. Food waste can be generated from any stage of the food supply chain, starting from the primary production up to the consumption. And the wasted food causes many environmental impacts, including climate change, water depletion, land degradation. The intensity of these environmental impacts are influenced by the decisions of the food supply chain stakeholders. Therefore, it is important to enable these stakeholders to use LCA for informed decision makings related to food waste reduction. Therefore, my research focused on developing a new LCA methodological framework for food supply chain stakeholders in Australia. And this framework covers broader environmental impact categories, including climate change and land use. And also this framework follows the 4 stages of the standardized LCA methodological framework, that is goal and scope definition, inventory analysis, impact assessment, and interpretation. So to achieve this target, first I conducted literature search to identify LCA studies of food waste reduction strategies. From that, I selected 101 publications, and from that, those publications were evaluated to identify LCA methodological aspects and their influence on LCA results based on the percentage variation in climate change. And a methodological aspect became a key methodological aspect if that variation was greater than 30%. Accordingly, the decisions taken during goal and scope definition and life cycle inventory phase have a significant influence on the LCA results of food waste reduction strategies. So in the goal and scope definition phase, functional unit, these are most technical words, I'm sorry about that. So functional unit and system boundary aspects such as food waste transport, implementation impacts in prevention, avoided products in attributional LCAs, and consumer behaviors are the key methodological aspects. And when it comes to life cycle inventory LCA model, whether it is attributional or consequential, upstream and downstream allocation method, food waste composition, and food waste processing scale are the key methodological aspects. So in my new LCA methodological framework, these key aspects will be harmonized. So this framework enables comparing LCA results across food waste reduction strategies because it uses the same approach for the assessment. And also it strengthens the confidence in using LCA outcomes for business development, research, and policy formulation. And also it bridges the gap between scientific analysis and practical application because LCA is more target on the LCA experts. So this framework will contribute for the methodological development of LCA frameworks globally, and nationally it supports food waste reduction goals. And finally, it strengthens the scientific foundation for circular economic transition in food waste. Thank you.
Thanks so much. That was exactly 3 minutes, 20 seconds. That's perfect. Are there any questions for any of the presenters? Those were great little bites, by the way, so that was great. Yes? Maria. Yes, absolutely. Or if you want to come here, you're welcome to come here as well.
Thank you. It's okay. Thank you very much. I would like to deliver some questions to the presenters. Rico Wahyudi, I think. So you talk about one of the problem is that we have the limited access, limited access to high value carbon market of the Indonesian. Thank you. So could you please explain what you mean by the limited access? That's the first question. And then the second is, in your method, you select 15 carbon companies. So what are the criteria for the selections? So you select these 15 carbon companies. I think that's the first one. And then the second one maybe, is that okay for the second person? Okay, so Nisan Salah? Okay, thank you very much for the great presentation. It was very nice, and it's really opened my knowledge about the food waste and the, how to say, life cycle analysis. So maybe that's a simple question from me. So how is your you search the literatures about this life cycle analysis. So how is the potential about, with the current condition about the food waste reduction in Australia? What is the main factor that we should address to cope with this food waste with the life cycle analysis? Thank you.
Okay, I answer now. Okay, thank you for this question, Bu. I mean, the limitation before 2024, before the previous government has restricted the access to our credit to the international voluntary carbon market because they consider this mechanism operated outside the Paris Agreement. So Indonesia, the government worried Indonesia cannot claim the credit in the voluntary carbon market into our NDC. So that's why they restricted the access of the credit to the international voluntary carbon market. But now, the new government has opened the opportunity to facilitate or certify our credit under the international standard, and also to sell our credit from the national standard to the voluntary carbon market. But the problem, if the credit certified under the national registry system, the question is, how far the recognition from the international market to our standard? If you look at the website of the national registry system, particularly in the volume sector, there is no standard like additionality, permanency, leakage, and so on. And methodology also very limited, just only in the context of jurisdictional project, because this come from the result-based payment project from the Norway and so on. There is no methodology for the project level. So that's why that will be the problem. So to increase our standard, so we need to learn from the international standard. So the mutual recognition agreement will be the basis or the entry point to improve our standard, to learn from the international standard. And the second, how to choose the 15 forestry carbon companies. So based on our investigation to the Forestry Business Association in Indonesia, so we look at the company that already has license for the carbon projects in Indonesia, because the Ministry of Forestry give the license right now. We call the environmental service for the carbon. So we choose the company that already have a license for this carbon project in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for your question. So it's regarding literature research. Yeah, yes, from the literature search, I identify 101 publications. From that, the majorities belong to the food-based prevention. So most of the LCS have done for the food-based prevention. It means before generating food-based is generated, we are trying to not to generate. So that's the main thing I learned from the literature search. And also, the secondly, it's on the food-based valorization. It means food waste is converted into other valuable products. It may be edible or it might not be edible. So it depends on the situation. And most of these LCS have conducted in the Europe region. I didn't find any of the study belong to Australia. I'm so sad to say that. So none of those studies didn't belong to Australia, but more majority, about 80% belong to the European context. Even though we have 50% reduction target by 2030, having food waste, having food waste. But anyway, we are moving towards the having food waste by 2030. So that's the situation regarding Australia and the world context related to literature search. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I'm on. You have questions?
I was actually going to ask Zainal if you might comment a little bit on what you saw and what lessons there might be for Indonesia and ASEAN countries around people's willingness to engage in soil health, but also their pressure they feel economically about that, and whether they're relearning to care about that after periods of being highly concerned with productive agriculture, or whether that's an ongoing and underlying thing anyway that people need to and do struggle with finding time and finances for.
Thanks, Andrew. I can only talk from an Australian experience because all my farmers are actually based in regional Victoria. So some of the practices, what you call regenerative is an umbrella term. So you have permaculture, you have natural farming, you have biodynamics. But the common thing about all these practices is that it is amazing, they do not farm the entire land. They would leave maybe 20-30% of the land for as a wildlife corridor, as native habitats, and they don't use pesticide. They don't use it's all natural farming, but it's the way they use the land. It's not monoculture. It's different species. It's animals. It's fruits. It's a combination of. It's polyculture. It's not monoculture, because that's what help build soil. And they've done tests. If you look at the roots of the native grass on regenerative farms, the roots go really, really deep. They go about 3 meters in length, as opposed to land that's been degraded. So I can't really talk about the experience for other countries. I can only talk from an Australian experience because that's where my research is conducted, and I wouldn't dare to tell people what to do because I never do that.
Thank you. Thanks. Any more questions? And just going back to Andrew.
I'm going to tell you all what to do. So firstly, I wanted people to put their hands together for all the presenters of that showcase. It was really exciting to see so many different things and to have a really wide sweep of ideas and activities. Oh, yeah, sure. We've got a surprise for Bhavna. It might be a good one, I hope. So hang on, here we go. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Something for your desk. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Now, I did want to, we're wrapping up in a minute, but I wanted to just cover what we did today because I think it's been very exciting. We started off with some perspectives on, particularly on Indonesian and Australian agricultural change and some of the threats and challenges of farming, particularly when people are being conscious about climate impacts, climate change, both mitigation and adaptation strategies. And to think about that with Andrew speaking and chairing that panel this morning was quite interesting. We had a good sense that people are acting. We also had a good sense that that's difficult and there's some big challenges to how people are acting. There's some of those challenges are economic, some of them are about the science, most of them are about the ability for people to see a way forward while they're also dealing with their own farm management. And I think that's important for us all to recognise that there's people, real people, operating activities, looking at the best solutions for them, and sometimes they're about things like urbanisation, which is problematic, as you know. Sometimes they're about the way they're changing what they're doing. And so we've got to consciously think about the fact that there's you know, landholders, there's communities operating in these environments, and we've got different sorts of ways we might interact, look at impact from research we do, thinking about the different scales that we operate, so at national or regional policy scales right down to habits and behaviours of individuals and communities. And so that came through, and I think then we had a good sense of the different ways that that's occurring, even in the showcase of some innovation here in Australia. And I hope you were able to see some innovation in showcase of industry that are going, even in our own municipality here in a thoroughly urban location, as well as in some of those you know, different innovations that we saw from Beanstalk and from Clinton talking about his own horticultural projects. We saw a good sweep of things going on across ASEAN, and it was good to work out in the end that we could have some online presenters as well as people who are in the room, and thank you so much for that, to give a good perspective of different places. I was struck, of course, by the similarities of the issues, of course. Too much water, not enough water, thinking about the risks and implications of trialling different practices, different breeding patterns, other sorts of issues that emerged from what was going on. And of course, some interesting science for solutions to those, but then of course also thinking through the fact that that relies on people being able to actually achieve those things, take them on board, and looking at the motivations people have. And of course, in the final session, seeing such a wide range of people doing really interesting work. There was many more names up there than what we saw presenters. Most of those people were parts of teams doing really interesting and innovative work. So that was really good to see as well. I learned about things that people were doing here at RMIT I didn't know about, which is great. And so I wanted to thank everyone who's presented today, and thanks for people like Bhavna for helping host that, and others who host the different sessions. Even me, who I didn't know I had this job until last night. So that was great. And I also wanted to then invite people. We do have a final session in a couple of minutes next door. So please, everyone's very welcome. How do I explain how to get there? It's basically, it's just beyond this building. There's a small door with a lift that goes up to the second floor, and we'll be on the second floor of the building that's on the corner. So don't go into that building on the ground level, go into the small lift space. It's sort of gold, and it's probably got a little gold sign up at the front directing you in. And I think we're welcome there in about 10 minutes. But that's the downstairs bit. We're going into the side door. Indeed. That'll get you there. And in fact, there's probably going to be a little gold sign sticking up there telling you that there's something inside, which is us on level 2. Indeed. So catch the lift up there. You're all very welcome. We're meeting there in about just on 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. So thank you so much for coming today. Did you have something you wanted to say, Maria? Okay, hang on. Here we go.
I'm sorry, our dean would like to handle a souvenir for you. Yes, please. So he's coming. Yes, yes. Souvenirs. Sorry. I think I put it here, okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's great. And thank you for your help today.
Thank you very much.
Making every week, all week.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much. And I'll see you next door in a couple of minutes.